As most of you are already well aware, George Soros is a globalist billionaire puppet master that uses his money to call the shots all across the globe. Well, now Newt Gingrich went on Fox News and exposed this corruption. Not only that, but the second he exposed the corruption, Fox News cut him off and basically said, you can't talk about that, but at least Newt Gingrich brought it up. Let me play for you that clip here so you can see it for yourself.
Look, the number one problem in almost all these cities is George Soros elected left-wing, anti-police, pro-criminal district attorneys who refuse to keep people locked up. Just yesterday, they put somebody back on the street who's wanted for 2 different murders in New York City. You cannot solve this problem, and both Harris and Biden have talked very proudly about what they call progressive district attorneys. Progressive district attorneys are anti-police, pro-criminal, and overwhelmingly elected with George Soros's money.
So overwhelmingly elected with George Soros money, but he goes on.
And they're a major cause of the violence we're seeing because they keep putting the violent criminals back on the street.
I'm not sure we need to bring George Soros into this.
I was going to say you get the last word, Speaker.
He paid for it. I mean, why can't we discuss the fact that millions of dollars he spent?
I agree with Melissa. George Soros doesn't need to be a part of this conversation.
Woo!
Okay. So it's verboten.
All right, we're going to.
Crickets. Crickets.
Okay, we're going to move on.
We're going to move on. George Soros doesn't need to be a part of this conversation, she says. George Soros did not fund and send money and backing. Oh, he did it? Wait now. Newt Gingrich just called it out, and Fox News is acting like, no, that never happened. We're not going to discuss that. He didn't pay for that. Well, how about I prove it to you? Let's just go through just a pinch. Keep in mind, I'm showing you a fraction of what he funded, right? Let's see. The TennesseeStar.com. Yes, George Soros is influencing your school board and local government elections. Here's another SunCentennial.com. Secret money shakes up Broward state attorney race, and even billionaire George Soros has pitched in. Here's another here on KSDK.com. 5 on your side. Follow the money. George Soros pumps $116,000 into St. Louis prosecutors campaign and other donations of note. Here we have another on OrlandoCentennial.com. Group with ties to billionaire George Soros spends $1.5 million on last-minute ads for the state attorney race. Here we have another one, and this is on ChicagoSunTimes.com. Another billionaire weighs in on state's attorney race. George Soros gives $2 million to group backing Fox, right? Here's another. They keep going. The MissouriTimes.com. Representative Gardner gets aid from Soros in St. Louis Circuit Attorney race. Here's another. The Philadelphia Inquirer. 1.45 million Soros investment in Philly's DA race draws heat for Krasner. And he's involved in a lot of DA races. A lot of those are DAs. You got to think about the deeper thing here. Here's NOLA.com. George Soros is spending $256,000 on Louisiana political race. And it just keeps going, folks. AtlanticNewsNow.com. Henry County DA candidate surrenders campaign to George Soros, who went and dropped over $91,000 to support the candidate there. Here we have, this is mysa.com, mysanantonio.com. Soros contributed to LA Hood DA challenger nearly $1 million. Here's another on Politico. Soros spends $2 million to defeat Joe Arpaio here in Arizona, giving money to the political opponents. Here we have AlbuquerqueJournal.com. Soros behind PAC backing Raul Torres for DA, right? District attorney. Why is he focusing on district attorneys? Because they're the ones that are calling some of the shots with what's going on. Think about their link to the riots, to BLM, to what's going on. And I'm going to bring that up, but I'm sidetracking. The WashingtonTimes.com. George Soros spends $1.15 million to defeat Peter Wire suburb Colorado DA and loses, right? So there's all this money he's pumping in. And this year, in 2020, he's pumping more money into the election. And here it is, Breitbart.com. George Soros spends $52 million on 2020 election cycle. And this is as of July 2020. So what's going on here? You see, George Soros has an agenda. And here we have Newt Gingrich going on Fox News exposing this man is messing with our election, funneling money to our DA elections, right? This is what he's done, and this is 100% what he's doing. And Fox News says, we can't talk about that. Why? You got money coming in from George Soros? I don't know. But here's what's going on with these DAs and stuff that he's hiring. Here we have the Duran.com. George Soros revealed to have funded DAs who now oppose police in American cities. They're opposing the police, right? Here's one. This is on dailycaller.com. We won't prosecute. Left-wing prosecutors, many backed by Soros cash, implement soft on crime policies across America. So here's the thing. George Soros is funding Antifa. George Soros is funding BLM. I've already talked about that on Restricted Republic. It's all on there, right? He's been funding it. And I could have a whole separate report showing you articles of him funding that. And he also is funding the DAs. So when these rioters and looters get arrested and sent to their offices, they're not going to prosecute. They're going to be soft on crime. Makes a lot of sense with what is happening. But at least we're calling out the corruption of this man. Oh, things are going to get rocky here in the United States. George Soros has funneled his money to take over countries time and time and time again. He did it in Ukraine. He funnels his money in multiple countries. We have to wake up to that criminality because he's the one that's pushing progress, socialism, communism in the United States of America.